Hi there, Teresa McGallagher from the Miracles Tribe. Thanks for joining me again for my weekly video that I do every Wednesday, my weekly Wednesday Wisdom video. I created this community, the Miracles Attraction community, with my friend Carly Hardy. So if you are seeing this video on YouTube, you can find a link to that group on Facebook down below, and also a link to our website, miraclestribe.com. And today, I want to address the state of the world. So, last night here in the United States, we had the State of the Union address by our president. And this is something that is written into our Constitution that every year the president is required by a certain date to give an address to the nation about the State of the Union and to talk about what's working and what's not working, what's good and what's bad, etc. I didn't watch it. My husband watched it, but I have lost all interest in politics because I have come to see that politics is just another emanation of the world of duality. It's about taking sides. It's about one side being right and another side being wrong. And that's not where we want to be as students of A Course in Miracles. We are looking for union, for connection, for joining. We are looking for common ground. So, I don't know what the State of the Union is here in the United States, but I do know there's been a lot in the news about what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine. And this is another area where people are prone to take sides or to feel justified in making other people wrong. And as we know from our spiritual practice, making other people wrong is never right. It's what creates suffering for us. So, the other day I was out on an errand and someone commented to me about the terrible state of the world and, how things have gotten so bad. And my immediate thought and my response to her was, the world is no worse than it's ever been. For some reason, the ego mind wants us to think that all of a sudden something terrible is happening now and it's worse than it's ever been. If you are a minority, you know for a fact that things used to be much worse. If you're female, you know for a fact that things used to be much worse. Women and people of color used to be considered property. Things are getting better in the world, not worse. That is just ego trick to keep us in panic mode, to keep us looking for problems to solve, to keep us distracted from the real work, which is finding peace, harmony, and love within ourselves. And every decade this happens, and I've seen it my entire lifetime. It was the economic collapse, and it was the worst it's ever been. Inflation, the worst it's ever been. Standing in lines for gas, the worst it's ever been. Going back before that, the war in Vietnam. We just spent 10 years of fighting wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. There was a period in history of the world where Europe fought a war for 100 years. The 100 Years' War. Can you imagine being born into a war zone and having that war go on for the entirety of your lifetime? How can anybody with any common sense think that right now is the worst that things have ever been? It's simply laughable. So, how do we handle this? How do we navigate through life when we can see in the news, when we can hear other people talking about all of the things that seem to be going bad? And I don't want to negate the suffering of anyone. I know that people are dying every day from starvation. I know that people are being killed in senseless wars throughout the world in different countries. I know that there are things going on the planet which could be improved and that shouldn't be happening, but are only happening because of human greed and desire for power and bullying. But the way to solve those things is not to fight against them, because what you resist persists. What you resist persists. A famous quote from Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist. There's so much truth in that. So how do we deal with these things that trigger us or that upset us that are going on out in the world? Well, first of all, we don't want to just ignore them and hide our head in the sand and pretend they're not happening, because that's no better than jumping on the bandwagon and resisting what's happening. Both of those responses come from fear. One, this thing's upsetting me, I'm going to attack. Two, this thing's disturbing me, I'm going to hide, I'm going to defend. Attack and defend. What we want to do is to center ourselves in the knowledge that everything that is happening on the planet is coming from the collective consciousness, the one mind, the Christ mind. That is the source. And that is where the problem can be solved. So I've also seen a lot of posts that say things like pray for Ukraine, pray for world peace, pray for this, pray for that. And that is still coming from a place of something is wrong and I want to fix it and I want to make it right. And what can I do? If I can't send money, if I can't send aid, if I can't participate in helping, at least I can send prayers, right? And that's a noble thought. But it's still coming from a place of lack and from a belief that something is wrong in the world that we need to fix, that we feel guilty about. And A Course in Miracles says that all problems in the world come from unconscious guilt over the separation. So the solution is to recognize that there was never any separation. Nothing has gone wrong despite appearances. Do not be deceived by appearances. The Everything in the world is you pushed out, as Neville Goddard used to say. Everything that is out there is coming from in here. So when the split mind is healed, the problems out there can heal. There's always a little delay. There's always a little time factor. Sometimes things happen instantaneously and miraculously in a holy instant. But often there is a delay out there. But our part is to heal our own minds so that the one mind, the Christ mind, the sonship mind that we all share can be healed. And the way that you can do that is to do the things that make you happy and help you to stay peaceful and relaxed without guilt. To take care of yourself, stay in your own lane. Sharing your opinions with everybody is not fixing anything. Congregating with people to complain about things is not fixing anything. Stay in your own lane. Work on your own mind. Find the things that make you happy, that bring you joy, that help you feel peaceful, relaxed, and centered. And that will have more positive effect than anything else you could do. You won't necessarily see the effect in the material world immediately, but you will be having an effect, trust me, if for no other thing than to bring peace to your little corner of the world, which is huge. Because when you feel peaceful and relaxed and happy, it affects the people that you interact with on a daily basis. And our job here is to reduce fear, to reduce our own fear, and to reduce the fear of those around us. And those around us will feel better when they are in the presence of someone who is peaceful and relaxed. So that's my tip for you today. Focus on peace, your peace. Focus on your inner peace. Focus on inner harmony. Do the things that you know work for you. And those things are different for everybody. It could be going for a walk in nature. It could be having a cup of coffee with a friend. It could be exercising. It could be reading inspirational material. It could be meditating. Whatever it is, and those things are unique to you. You know what they are. No one else can tell you what they are. It could be listening to cheerful music or classical music. Whatever it is, spend a little bit of time doing those things every day. And don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like you're being selfish. You're not. You're not being selfish. You need to be selfish. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself so that you can be useful to other people. You can't give what you don't have. So stop placing your attention and your focus and your energy on all the problems in the world, on all the things that are going on out there, and focus on what's going on in here. Thanks a lot for joining me. So great to see you here every week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.